Do you ever just feel like life is just one big video game, one big simulation, and our generation just happened to be dropped right in the middle of nightmare difficulty? Not too long ago, I heard about simulation theory, and I gotta say, it sounds really convincing, especially given our current circumstances. Just like in a video game, we need to acquire currency and resources to survive. Just like in a video game, there are varying levels of difficulty, and I gotta say, we are in absolute nightmare mode right now. And just like in a video game, there are new strategies and tactics that people are constantly discovering to play the game better. This leads us to the topic of today's video, the meta. The meta stands for the most effective strategy at the moment. It was popularized in competitive games like League of Legends, where the game is constantly evolving and changing, and thus new strategies are needed on almost a weekly basis. And in this real-life video game of the horrible modern economy we're all living in, I gotta say, I believe Gen Z has started to figure out that neatboxing is the new meta right now. For those of you who don't know, NEET is an acronym that stands for Not in Employment, Education, or Training. It was originally meant as a derogatory term to shame those not working, but Gen Z has totally taken that word back and totally owned it. Never thought I'd see the day where another group of people takes a derogatory N-word and makes it cool, but here we are. And out of the word NEET, we got the term neatboxing, which essentially means to just give up on traditional work and either live with your parents and or collect welfare. So how did neatboxing become the new meta? Well, let's first establish the rules, parameters, and objectives of this game. A lot of people are going to listen to this and immediately jump on my throat like, what bro, are you saying to just collect welfare forever? No, the meta is a strategy, a means to an end, and not the end goal itself. For example, in League of Legends, the current meta is to abuse a tanky build on the champion Ahri. That happens to be overpowered right now. But you don't automatically win the game when you complete the tanky Ahri build. The tanky Ahri build merely gives you a better chance of achieving the ultimate end goal, which is to destroy the enemy nexus. So, now that we've established that collecting welfare, or neatboxing, isn't the end goal, but it is the best strategy at the moment to help you achieve the ultimate end goal, this would be a good time to discuss what I'm sure you're all wondering by now. What is the end goal of this nightmare difficulty video game we're all playing known as real life? Well, this is where it gets a bit subjective, especially in the modern day and age. This is why a lot of young people feel so lost today. Traditionally speaking, the end goal was the American dream. Having a good career, getting married, buying a nice house, and being able to raise a family. But the world and economy has changed so much that for most people, this end goal has become not only unattainable, but even undesirable at this point. So, we know what we don't want, and that's a good start. But we still have to answer the question of what do we want our new end goal to be? What is the victory condition of the new game? Well, in my opinion, when I look at the world today, the only people I see who are really winning are those who have started their own online business and just work for themselves. With how expensive everything's gotten, there's just no way to win by going the traditional route anymore. I came across this Reddit post of a guy who went the traditional route and actually succeeded at it, landing a $60K salary job right out of college, which is pretty much the best situation you could hope for right now. But between how expensive everything has gotten and his crushing student loan debt, even he feels totally crushed and demoralized right now. This strategy is just outdated, obsolete, and out of the meta right now. Starting your own online business, whether that's freelancing, YouTube, investing, or the countless other ways to do it, is the only way to win since it gives you the freedom to live anywhere you want in the world and escape the insane, nightmarish living cost of the West. If you manage to secure a steady income of even around, let's say, $1,000 a month, you could comfortably rent out this $300 per month apartment in the beautiful beach city of Durrës, Albania, for example. It's literally 10 times cheaper than in the West at this point. This means that every dollar you earn overseas or online is as powerful as $10 earned in the West. By the way, I know that some of you watching are not from the West, but the same thing applies to you, just in a different way. If you manage to secure an online income, you can live in your home country comfortably with a Western salary. The win condition at this point isn't about succeeding within the system, it's about escaping the system. Most importantly, this allows you to escape wage slavery. You don't have to sacrifice 10 hours a day just to make some corporate overlord richer anymore. You get your freedom back. So, since starting your own online business is the new win condition, neatboxing is simply the most effective strategy at the moment to accomplish that. Keep in mind, the most effective strategy doesn't necessarily mean it's a perfect utopian strategy with no flaws. It just means in this bleak world and economy, it is the best strategy available out of not so many great options. Running a tanky Ari build won't win you every game in League of Legends, but it will give you a better chance than you would have had otherwise. In the absolute most hopeless and unwinnable games, it might only give you a 1% chance of winning, but it's still better than zero. This is pretty much how I look at neatboxing versus the traditional route of wage slavery at this point. I really just don't see how you're ever going to start your own online business if you have to spend 10 hours a day working for somebody else. Building an online business is already an incredibly challenging task, and you're just going to be way too exhausted physically and mentally to be able to do it after a long and grueling 10-hour shift at a soulless 9 to 5. The only way you're going to be able to achieve this is if you stay home, living with your parents and or collecting welfare. Neatboxing, in other words. This is the only way you're going to have enough time and mental energy to eventually build an online business and use it to escape the system. I want to be brutally honest and objective here. Not everyone is going to succeed, even if you do neatbox. Starting an online business right now is an extremely competitive game. After the pandemic, everyone saw the value of working online and it's gotten quite oversaturated. That being said, there are still ways to make it, but you have to take it seriously and dedicate literally all your time and energy into it. It's not like it was before 2020, where these online jobs were easy to get. It's still possible to do it. It's just really bloody difficult. And by sitting at home and collecting welfare or neatboxing, you give yourself a huge edge on the competition. You have an extra 8 hours per day to make YouTube videos, find online freelance gigs, develop your skills, or whatever it is you have to do to scale your online business. This is huge because in this brutally competitive game we're all playing, every single hour is precious. I want to clarify once again that neatboxing is a meta strategy and not the ultimate end goal. I've mentioned neatboxing here and there in previous videos, and I've gotten some flack with people being like, so what, are you saying to just live off welfare or live with your parents forever? No, it is just a means to an end, and probably the most effective means at this moment. The tanky Ari build is the meta at the moment, but that doesn't mean you just build tanky items on her and stand around doing nothing the whole game. You use it as a mean to ultimately destroy the enemy nexus. And once again, I want to clarify that it being the most effective strategy doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect strategy that always works and has no flaws. It just means it's better than the alternative. With how screwed the economy is for our generation, it might only give you a 1% chance of success. But the alternative is being a wage slave, which is literally a 0% chance of success. Realistically, we're never going to have the opportunities to achieve traditional metrics of success that our parents had. We're just going to have to redefine our own ways of being successful in the modern world. But there is a huge elephant in the room we need to address, a question that I'm sure you're asking yourself at this point in the video. Is neatboxing morally ethical? Every competitive game has had meta strategies that, although they worked and were highly effective, they were universally looked down upon by the player base because it was seen as an unethical cheat or exploit. So the question is, does neatboxing fall into that category? I can already hear the criticisms of this strategy in the comments, but you're going to be a burden to your parents. You're going to be a burden to taxpayers and society. Are these criticisms valid? Well, to answer that question, let's take a look at the rank 1 neatboxer in the world, Elon Musk. If you need any further proof that neatboxing is the meta right now, look no further than the fact that the guy who's literally rank 1 on the leaderboard by a wide margin got there via the neatboxing strategy. Elon Musk is a NEET. This is just a fact. He's not in education, he is not and certainly never would work for anyone else either, meaning he's also not employed. The amount of government welfare benefits he collects every year is absolutely astronomical too. According to reports in 2015 alone, Tesla received nearly $5 billion in government subsidies. This is taxpayer-funded welfare money. We just don't think of it that way when it's a rich person receiving welfare benefits, but it comes from taxpayers nevertheless. So, given that Elon Musk receives literally billions of dollars of neat bucks every single year, society has totally lost any right to shame you over a few $100 per month in food stamps, disability, living with your parents, or whatever other neat bucks you can scrounge up. It is a tiny rounding error compared to the billions of dollars of neat bucks that Elon Musk receives every single year. So, if the rank 1 neatboxer is allowed to exploit this meta strategy to climb all the way to the top of the leaderboard, there's absolutely zero shame in using this meta strategy yourself. In fact, you almost have to use it if you can, otherwise you set yourself at a significant disadvantage. Now, I want to leave you with some actual practical tips and advice you can implement to start making money online and escape this broken system. The neatboxer is just one of many viable builds you can choose from. We've fully researched all the different strategies you could use as well, from homesteading to moving abroad to just being a minimalist monk. Here's a full comprehensive tier list video guide for you so you can decide which path you want to take in your own personal journey. Check it out. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.